Now, Syria says its army had begun to withdraw from the violence-hit Sweda following a wave of Israeli strikes on the capital and a U.S. call for government forces to leave the majority Druze southern city.
Now, the Syrian government earlier announced a new ceasefire in Sweda that would bring a halt to military operations there after clashes that a war monitor said had left more than 350 people dead since Sunday.
Now, Israel launched strikes next to Syrian presidential palace. The Israeli strikes also hit targets near the Syrian army and defense ministry headquarters. One person has been killed and 18 injured in the attack. Israel has warned the Ahmad al-Shara-led government to leave the Druze minority alone in its Sweda heartland.
قصف جديد قصف جديد يا شباب قصف جديد مبنى هيئة الأركان خالص قصف جديد يا شباب قصف خذونا بسرعة.
This is the moment that the explosion was captured live on air as a reporter covered the ground situation in Syria. A high-profile area of Damascus, housing important buildings, can be seen engulfed in smoke after the Israeli strike.
Footage captured by an eyewitness shows the moment Israel struck Syria's defense ministry headquarters. Chaos erupted with people running for shelter after the explosion in the Syrian capital.
Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz called on Damascus to leave the Druze in Sweda alone, while the Turkish Foreign Ministry says that Israeli strikes on Syria's Damascus are attempts to sabotage Syrian attempts to establish peace, security. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has called the situation worrying. In the latest, Rubio also said that Washington is de-escalating the situation between the two countries.
I just got off the phone with the relevant parties. We're very concerned about it. And hopefully we'll have some updates later today for you. But we're very concerned about it. We want it to stop.
The Israeli Druze are calling for safety and protection of their community in Syria. Some members of the Druze community also breached the Israel-Syria border in the past few hours. 1,000 Druze residents of Israel crossed over, while dozens from the Syrian side also tried to cross on to the other side. Israel's Prime Minister has urged the Druze to not cross over into Syrian territory as they could be killed, kidnapped or get in the way of Israeli military's operations.
Now, according to reports, Israel is preparing to deploy 2 more military divisions to Israel-controlled Golan Heights region, which is in close proximity to southern Syria's borders. According to Israeli military radio station Galei Zahala, a brigade of paratroopers is also being prepared for deployment towards Syria if such a need arises.
Israel's latest escalation in Syria comes after Tel Aviv promised to protect the Druze community in southern Syria's Sweda province, saying it will leave no stone unturned to do so, after 4 days of deadly clashes which have reportedly killed 248 people.
Sectarian clashes in the south of Syria between Druze and Bedouins, which erupted in the start of the year, have now snowballed into a fierce confrontation with Israel. A ceasefire announced on Tuesday barely lasted for hours.
The past few days saw dozens of civilians and military forces killed in intense clashes between Druze armed factions and Sunni Bedouin tribes alongside Syrian government forces in the country's Sweda province. What started as a series of tit-for-tat kidnappings spiraled into series rounds of fighting as tensions have simmered between the Druze and Syria's new Islamist-led government, which led the movement that toppled President Bashar al-Assad in early December. Meanwhile, the Israeli army struck near the entrance of the Syrian Ministry of Defense in Damascus. Israel has launched a series of airstrikes on convoys of government forces in southern Syria since the clashes erupted and has beefed up forces on the border. It threatened to further intervene to back the Druze in the country. A number of Druze live in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights and are related to those in Syria.